Hello everyone, your favorite visual effects artist, Jack Wong here, and I want to share with you a tutorial on how to make cube maps. Cube maps are kind of like fake reflections, or we can say predetermined reflections. They have their use, and they've been in games for ages. Old games have used them, modern releases have used them as well. And there's a lot a person can do with them. Today we're just going to go over how to create more or less a generic one and then apply it, view it, tweak it, and so on. Now, although this method and the cube apps themselves actually work in different engines and for different games, this is specifically going to be applied to Bethesda title games. I believe they even work in, I want to say Morrowind and Oblivion, Skyrim, and then the Fallout series, Fallout 3, 4, and New Vegas, of course, and I'm pretty sure they are used in 76, but I cannot confirm. So let's go ahead and begin. I've got three textures here that I've already prepared, and if you want to make a kind of reflection or any kind of cube map, the first thing that you need to realize is that this is going to be seamless left and right, but the top is going to be kind of scrunched or pinched or coiled up, so that the best thing you can do is have a solid color on the top. It's going to save you a lot of trouble, and then same goes for the bottom. So the reflection, like looking straight up, you would see a color, and then looking straight down you see another color. Typically, of course, the bright one is on top, the dark one is on bottom for a good simulated horizon. Now, before we begin, before we get too far here, I'm using paint.net on the left, and on the right I got ATI cubemap gen, more about that later, and then I've got NIF scope plus a basic NIF here. But here, starting with paint.net, we're going to do this kind of chromatic glossy one first, and there's a lot you can do in paint.net very quickly even. So this is the basis of the reflection I want to make, but with a couple clicks here I can completely change it. For example, if I go to convert it to a fire gradient, and we'll generic settings to get something like that, and then we can quickly change it into something kind of sci-fi, and then it can be reflected as like on an alien material or on some kind of mystic item, or in a room that has some purple energy or whatever you want. But there's just so many ways to create a cube map on your own. Step one, I take my seamless image, and I'll show you what I mean by seamless. Because it's left and right, you can see it continues on and on, but not up and down, because that's going to be coiled. So we have to get an image called a sphere map, and then the sphere map will be converted into the faces, which will plug in to our sphere, thus creating our cube map. So let's begin. To make the sphere map, first we change the width so that we can unwrap it properly. One thing about sphere maps is normally when one is made, like a panorama, there's going to be some bulging, and it can help minimize the amount of stretching that's going to take place. So first, let's create our own fake bulge, just like a proper sphere map would, because just by resizing a basic square doesn't make it a sphere map. So let's take this, and we're just going to distort and bulge. Once should suffice. You don't need to go crazy here. And there we go. We've got a bulge on this side. Select the inverted, crop to image, Control F to redo the effect, select all, copy it, back out, paste it, and move it over where it belongs. Okay, so we've got our fake sphere map here. Now I've got a plugin. You go to Effects, Photo, this one, Sphere Cuber. As the name implies, it's going to take a sphere map and it's going to cube it. It's going to extract the faces in cube form. So here's our sphere map. We go to Convert. We choose where we want to put it, and I will just put them, well, I've already got a place in mind here. Just put it in the media folder. Okay. And here, generic. All right. Now, whatever you name it, doesn't really matter. I'll just name it side. And then it's converting, extracting all the faces we need, and there they are. over here. Now we'll take our faces that we've just converted, put them in here so we can arrange them manually. They're huge. That's going to make a really big cube map. That's it's excessive. That's just showing off. All right, well, let's resize them to something a little bit more reasonable. 256. It's not bad. Oops. Okay, get this one here. And the last one. All right. Now, if you look at the names here, you'll see that the names are labeled to kind of help us arrange them. B, back. D, down. F, front. L, left. R, right. And U, up. I like to start with the up one, since that's kind of like the center that tethers them all. We'll go back here and we'll get it ready for the proper cube size. Now, it's going to be as a cross, 90 degrees tilted. You can have a face here, a face here, a face here, and a face here. 4 this way, and then left and right. So that's going to be our cross. 6 faces, just like a cube, and we'll start with the up one. Okay, we'll copy that, get a new layer here. Oh, forgot to resize it. This is entirely too big. It's actually got to be the right size for the number of faces we have. 4 at 256 is 1024. 3 up and down at 256 is 768. Now we can begin. Okay, so we're going to put that right in the center, and we're getting there. You can tell down here it says the top left where that's going to be. So 256 by 256. There, we got it in the middle. Okay, so from the up face, the next face we could do is front. You see as they're named here. Okay, so we take our front face and we'll copy it. Oh, sorry, this one's back. Back is fine. Okay, so this side over here is going to be the back. I know it's kind of takes a little bit to wrap your head around at first and get it into place, but just imagine unwrapping a cube or even a ball. Same difference. Now we'll take the next face, and this one is the front. So if the back is here, clearly this is the front. Align it, tilt it. All right, why don't we take this one, which is the left. So if this is front, then this one, looking at it from the proper angle, this one should be the left side. Put it into place, line it up. There we go. And we'll take the right face, right side, paste it over here. Okay, and the last one then is down. This is the bottom of the cube map. Flip it 180. Oh, it's just 1 pixel off there. Okay, now you can see we've got our cross. If you wanted to make any small edits, maybe if you thought this top is too blue or too shiny or something, you can always kind of grab a brush and select a color, add some alpha, so it's not going to be, oops, there we go. So it's not going to be too extreme, and just kind of soften up, paint over a little bit, get rid of that sheen. We don't want too much contrast or something that's going to stand out and distract people. Okay, Control-Shift-F to flatten it, and now we can save it. We'll just save it on the desktop, that's fine. Environment map, TDS, yes, I've already got one called that, no matter. Now over here, you have to tick the box for cubemap so it knows what we're making here, and it will detect what to crop and kind of prep it for you. Bitmaps, yeah, so we can see it from a distance in game without getting messed up. Now our cubemap is over there on the desktop. Let's go take a look at it. Use ATI cubemap gen. It's ancient, but it gets the job done. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we'll select our cubemap. There it is. All right, first things first, let's actually project it to the skybox so we can see what we're looking at, and we'll see how it's going to look as a ball. Okay, we'll tilt it. There we go. Now you can see right here is the up and here is the down. So you know you've got it correct. We can swivel it across the horizon, what we're looking for is any seams. Oftentimes there's visible seams or things to kind of clean up and fix. And there's options over here to do that. Edge fix up and everything. You can even change the size. This is the size per face, of course, which is going to change the overall size of the texture you export. You got options. You could save it as a cube map. You can even save it as faces, save it as a cross, and so on. You can change the object, get an OBJ in there, and actually get a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like on your model. But we don't need to do that. We can see there's no seams. Actually, looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and apply it. I took the toy ball, the default toy ball, and I've already applied kind of a metallic texture. And we put our environmap on there. Now, one thing to do, the default is usually a little too shiny or powerful. Scale actually means intensity. So why don't we crank that down to something about 60%. All right, and we'll save it. Right click, view. View is just going to open it automatically in Gek. Okay, get rid of our ground plane, kind of back up. And there you have it. Now, might be a little too blue for some people's taste, but you know, if you're doing some prop outdoors or in a sci-fi setting, the best thing you can do for yourself is try to make it match the environment, because that's the whole point. It's a fake environment. One option you have is actually to take pictures of your environment, stitch them together as a sphere map, and then do that same process we just did and convert that into a usable cube map. You can make some pretty deceivingly good fake reflections that way, because it would actually appear to be reflecting its exact environment. This demo, however, is just to show kind of a more generic one, what it looks like with a little sheen on there. A lot of games do this, and it's a good way to get a believable metallic look on something without having to do actual physics, do the rendering, the real-time reflections and whatnot. So there you have it, our own quick and dirty generic cube map.